Wonderful. This is the first time I'm presenting with all of these kids. It feels very strange to hear myself when I'm speaking. Welcome to our last session of the day, which is in the pitch and invest stage about corporate sustainability. The way we see the world creates the world we see. Your mindset, your tools, the tools you use, and your heart set they play a crucial role in creating our realities. I'm super honored to see. Can you see me? Can you hear me better? Excellent. When we build from this idea, the communities around us thrive. And this is the true sustainability, the ability to create the conditions around us to thrive together. So corporate sustainability is about the what, but also the how. We have a huge data gap, which is called the sustainability data gap. I have a lot of people here that know more about it than me. I'm Tatiana, and I'm an ESG consultant. I work in sustainable development and climate change. And I'm currently supporting listed global companies in their UDR, CSRD, and CCF efforts. Welcome. Our panel will introduce themselves, and then we will have some of our wonderful startups pitching.
Thank you for having me today. I'm Alice, representing ETF Partners. So we are a London-based venture capital firm that invests in environmental technologies and then backing innovators with certain commercial traction demonstrate, but most importantly, being able to deliver significant environmental impacts. So we are growth stage investor. We don't have a sector-specific focus, but generally prefer like the intelligence layer of modern infrastructure. And corporate sustainability has been always a focus of us. So we have quite a portfolio of companies such as Normative, which does like corporate carbon accounting software, and then or maybe Shipio based in Germany that tracks sustainability, supply chain for track. So this is just an example of what we look into, and then very pleasure to be here, and then looking forward to the pitch later. Thank you.
Thank you. That is a bit odd. Hi, everyone. I'm David from TDK Ventures, which is the corporate venture capital arm of TDK, a large Japanese company which you may remember for cassette tapes, but now is mainly in the business of making lithium-ion batteries for consumer electronics. And at the corporate venture capital firm, we focus on early stage, deep tech opportunities across both energy and digital transformation. And we look to invest in technologies which can truly transform society. I'm focused on energy transformation and on topics like renewable energy generation and industrial decarbonization. And just a few examples of how far we go into the future. We've invested in areas like nuclear fusion, sustainable aviation fuels, direct air capture, up and down the energy storage value chain, and of course investing a lot in next generation computing at the moment as well. Great to meet you.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Craig, one of the founding partners of World Fund. World Fund is a 300 million climate tech venture capital fund investing seed to Series B in companies that have the potential to save at least 100 million tons of CO2. So if you have any very large CO2 opportunities, we'd love to hear about them.
Fantastic. I guess that leaves us with our first pitch. Would you like to come to the stage? And let's get this party started.
Sorry. Cool.
We'll let him set up, and then we'll start with the pitching.
Can everyone hear me? Okay. Great. Okay. Have to bear with me. Have not done this in a silent disco or presentation form before, sadly. Cool. Okay. So understand I've got 4 minutes, so I'll try to be as quickly as possible. Okay, so introductions. I'm James Fair. I'm the CEO and founder of Neural Alpha, which is the parent consultancy of a new software as a service solution, Responsible Capital. You can find us over by the boat, just in the main exhibition hall if you're interested in finding out more. But today I'll try and give a whistle-stop tour as to who we are and what we do. So Neural Alpha, the parent company, we're an established, recognised thought leader and innovator within the sustainable technology space. We've been going since 2016, organically funded, no outside investors. And what we've done since we've started is really work with many of the world's largest companies and also financial institutions, asset managers and banks, building bespoke data and software products, particularly within the environmental pillar of ESG, and particularly focusing on solving the hard problems around data processing, data integration, particularly around areas like supply chains, commodities, deforestation, nature, biodiversity. And we've learned a hell of a lot in that time, which we've poured into our new venture, which is Responsible Capital, which is our first product that we've launched. So in terms of the problem that we're solving with Responsible Capital, it's really the fundamental problems of data and sustainability data that we're all, I'm sure, very familiar with. Firstly, there's an unprecedented volume of data that's out there. We've never had more data available. We've never had more content being disclosed by corporates. And it's essentially too much content. It's too much data for sustainability teams to actually analyse within a working day. So we see AI as fundamentally being one of the key solutions for solving that volume problem. There's also a huge complexity problem, which is at the moment growing. So we have more and more voluntary standards emerging, certifications, more and more regulations, lots of uncertainty. We're seeing things like in the EU with the omnibus, and lots and lots of complexity there for both investors and for corporates to get their heads around. And fundamentally, this is all driving at high costs at a time when sustainability budgets are under a huge amount of pressure to deliver more value for less money. So in terms of the solution that we've developed, we've really leaned into a lot of the innovation that's happening within the AI and combined that with lots of proven best practices that we've developed in terms of data engineering and data science over the last 8 years of consulting with many of the world's largest companies. And what we've ended up with is a solution, Responsible Capital, that delivers many of the fundamental requirements of sustainability professionals much, much faster than traditional techniques. So we're seeing ESG workflows that can be delivered in potentially hours rather than days. So particularly things like assessing the risks and opportunities associated with a company traditionally tended to take 3 to 5 days perhaps to comb through all of the financial and sustainability disclosures, to build a view, build a dashboard, build a scorecard, whatever the output was. With AI, we can get that down to a few hours. We're also fundamentally offering a license-free model as well. So traditionally, the current paradigm with ESG data is top-down, one-size-fits-all, large data vendors offering a single solution, when fundamentally, we're working in a fast-changing space with many, many different solutions emerging. So we really put the power into users' hands with the solution that we've developed. And in terms of the key use cases that we're tackling within financial services, it's areas like ESG screening, stewardship and engagement, also things like ESG data self-service, new product development. And for corporates, we're also offering a lot of capabilities around things like ESG benchmarking, so being able to produce very rapid custom benchmarking against an entire sector or peer group, completely focused on the ESG factors that you care about the most, all powered by the latest generative AI innovation. And then finally, how long have I got left? 45 seconds? Something like that? Okay. Just give a quick summary of the innovation that's gone into the platform. So What we've done is we've paired a rapidly evolving technology, large language models, with a proven but innovative technology in the form of knowledge graphs, which we feel is a unique solution for keeping this exciting AI innovation honest and hallucination-free. We cover 200,000 global companies and over 1.2 million financial and sustainability disclosures at the moment. And that's all within a model that's very intuitive to use, a platform that's very intuitive to use. Anyone can get started with it within 10 minutes. And if you're interested in finding out more, do go to responsiblecapital.io and let us know, and we can set you up with a free trial to test it out yourself. And thank you very much for listening.
Wonderful. Now we are moving on to our questions. We have 3 minutes for questions. Judges, the floor is yours.
Thanks. Maybe the first question, you kind of started as a consultancy back in 2016, is that right?
Yeah.
So how have you created an actual product out of that, and how do you make sure you don't end up going back into a consultancy?
Yeah, it's really interesting questions. So I guess fundamentally we've been led by the market, and we've been led by users and real problems that we've discovered. We've worked with many of the world's largest asset managers, largest sovereign wealth funds, largest corporates. And we've seen the challenges that they face day to day in terms of, even just acquiring data, let alone making sense of it. So what we've tried to do is focus very much on solving lots of small, real problems that overall kind of, bring together a comprehensive solution. So real world problems. And then in terms of avoiding falling back to becoming a consultancy, I think that's a common thing that people do. We fundamentally see the value of a consultancy proposition working alongside a product solution. We just did a very successful project with WWF where we created them a completely novel climate transition plan data set using consultancy skills, and what we were then able to do was leave them with the tool and the version of the analysis that we'd done so that they could then take it forward independently, and they can then re-engage us if they want additional consultancy support in the future. So we see a lot of complementarity between the two.
Thank you very much for the presentation. My question is about differentiation. So why would corporates choose to work with you over the many other solutions that exist in terms of sustainability data and management?
Yeah, it's a great question. I can tell you've done this before. There's many solutions out there, and fundamentally, I guess we've got the economic problem of lemons. There's a lot of interest in this space, and there's a lot of duds, and obviously buyer needs to beware. I'd say that the proof is in the pudding. We have huge confidence in the solution that we've built. We give away a version for free for people to try out themselves. I guess one of our biggest competitors is ChatGPT, which is kind of dangerously good-looking but fundamentally flawed in terms of the quality of analysis it can do. Unsecure, hallucination-prone, and really trained on every man and his dog's opinion of ESG on the internet rather than fundamentally trained by ESG professionals with actual targeted domain knowledge. So I think that's our main kind of differentiators there.
I think my question, kind of like a follow-up question of David's ones, which is like, given for example, the state situation and also like the appetite change in terms of like this kind of like responsible investment, I wonder like what is your go-to-market strategy to capture the remaining ones?
So you're talking about in terms of the headwinds coming from the United States and budgetary pressures. So I think the train has left the station in terms of sustainability, but we're definitely experiencing some challenges. Personally, having worked in this space for kind of eight or so years, I'm quite excited about that because it's making it real. And I guess for us to succeed, we've got to try and embed sustainability within lots of kind of day-to-day real-world business processes. And I think our tool is designed to achieve that. So it's very easy to use for doing any kind of supply chain due diligence or any kind of financial due diligence on a company, and then you get the sustainability stuff for free with doing that. And those more kind of traditional use cases tend to be the more regulated, must-do activities that many corporates and banks and financial institutions have. So I think we're trying to make it as easy as possible in terms of the business case, if you like.
Are you pre-revenue or post?
I'd say that we're kind of somewhere in between. So we launched the platform about 9 months ago. We have 300 users. Obviously, a large portion of those are free-to-access users that we're introducing the platform to and then bringing them along this this journey. We have a portion of those that are paid users, and many of those are some of the largest financial institutions in Europe and others. So it's still relatively early days, I think, to be honest to say.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. That was fantastic.
Right, thank you.
Let's move on to our next pitch.
Thank you. Well done. Yep, that's great. Well, hello. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Kit Aspen. I am the founder and CEO of Cross Carbon. We are the sustainability intelligence platform for Scope 3 business travel. Okay, this next slide. All right, I'm going to hit space, see if that works. Nope. Off to a terrible start. The clicker's not working. Okay, cool. I'll use the keyboard. Right, technical difficulties over. Yes, so we are the sustainability intelligence platform for business travel. So a difficult reality, especially in the current political climate, is that sustainability actually isn't a priority for a lot of businesses right now. Especially when you come to business travel and business travel emissions. When you have someone in an organization saying they will travel and it will bring in new revenue for their business, that argument often wins out over the emissions related to that travel. But travel is actually an opportunity. In many aspects, being more sustainable in travel can lead to better business outcomes and can lead to cost savings as well as emission savings. And so that's what we think a lot about. We think in 3 separate areas. So at the foundation of everything we do is our data layer. So this is the most granular, the most accurate data in the industry. If we're talking about a flight, for example, we're looking at how many people are on that flight, how much freight is on that flight, what aircraft type it is, the fuel burn. We have a database of over 60 million annual flights, every hotel property in the world, 30 rail systems, and millions of expense receipts. Because once you have better data, you can use it to make better decisions. So if you want to know, changing airline, what that will mean for your emissions, then you're going to need to know what the emissions are of the specific airline. Or if you're looking at a particular route, you're going to need to know what your emissions look like on a particular route. So that data then flows into our data lake product, our enterprise product, the Thrust Calculator. It brings in all the data and it enables strategic, high-level decision-making for the leaders of businesses. And then we have Thrust Engage, designed for everyone in an organization to be able to understand their emissions and ultimately intervene, ideally at point of sale, to enable them to reduce their emissions. So when it comes to business travel, we are already the leading platform. So we work with a lot of booking platforms, everyone from CWT, Flight Centre, SAP Concur. So everywhere in those tools where you see a carbon calculation, that is us. Our data is alongside $100 billion of annual travel spend. And then we also work with many of the world's largest companies to directly integrate all of their data make more sense of it, reduce it. So everyone from Citi, Toyota, Novartis, as well as quite a few that we can't talk about but publicly, but two FANGs, leading accountancy platforms, things like that. And we also made some of the UK's carbon methodologies. So, for example, we worked with National Rail to make the new rail methodology for the UK. The green travel data was our work with them, which was really exciting. And in terms of results, so when we look back at one of our first customers, we're seeing that they are saving around $70 million a year against their travel baseline in 2019. On a FTE basis, emissions are down 62%, and yet they have grown hugely during that period at 180% revenue. So we are not actually fundraising right now, but we're looking towards Series A towards the end of the year, maybe early 2026. Existing investors include the likes of Frontline Capital, Begin Capital Pact. So yes, thank you all very much. My name is Kit Aspen. I'm founder and CEO of Thrust Carbon, and I look forward to your questions.
Thank you. I have a question regarding why would your client pay specifically for scope-free or business travel reduction? Because there's so many solutions outside the stage, and they're more integrated. I'm not sure how much they're offering, but I'm just curious why would they pay specifically for business travel?
Yeah, that's a great question. So ultimately, business travel is typically the largest area of discretionary spend in any organization. Our largest client, which is the world's largest travel program, spends close to $2 billion a year on travel. And so it represents both a huge opportunity to shift behavior, but also a huge opportunity to save money as well. And the reason why they come to us rather than go to a generic platform is we don't deal in averages. We don't deal in every single scope, and there's a lot of data out there. We are hyper-focused on travel, and it means we can provide really specific insights. We can tell them exactly on the London to Seattle route where they might spend $50 million a year, exactly what will happen if they change from one airline to another. And that's just really valuable to them. That's really specific.
Yeah. What is your ideal customer profile?
A corporate travel program of $50 million plus a year.
Thank you.
Sure. So.
Thank you for the presentation. A follow-up question is, how much do customers pay for your service, and how do you estimate the addressable market size for what you're offering?
Yeah, so today, for an enterprise customer, it's anywhere between £50,000 and £200,000. When we look at the total addressable market, particularly looking at the largest companies, Fortune 2000 companies, you're looking at a market size of around $2 billion a year. However, as part of our Series A, we're looking a lot more into how we can leverage large cost savings for our clients. So how can we help them save $10 million plus? And we think that's going to get us to higher ticket sizes, deal sizes, and ultimately to give us a much larger market.
And how do you play off the differences between corporates interested in the money side of things rather than the carbon side of things? Because it's they might choose to go for another carrier regardless, because even if their carbon footprint goes up, because it's cheaper.
Yeah, all depends on the company. There's no one-size-fits-all solution. We're working with more and more companies that have an internal carbon price. For those, it's very simple. It's about tying all this data back to that price. But for those that aren't interested in that, then it comes down to their priorities, right? If they're the type of organization that is hyper-focused on saving cost, then it might be exploring what's the impact of switching from business class to economy. You get a huge emission saving, and you're also going to save a huge amount of money. Or it might be, what if they were able to turn 10% of their travelers who were previously taking taxis from the airport to the city centre to get them on public transport? Again, for large programs, you're talking about multi-million-dollar savings. So it really depends on the company. But yes, ultimately, when it comes to Scope 3 business travel, unlike, I suppose, a lot of sustainability, being more sustainable often is a cost saving, even in itself. So we lean on that a lot.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
That was brilliant. And I welcome to the stage our third and last pitch.
Great. Can everyone hear me? I can hear me. By the way, who was here for my pitch earlier today? You. I'm so sorry. You get the privilege of hearing it twice, but it means your questions will be spot on. Great. All right. So we are Nature Broking. I'm the managing director and co-founder of Nature Broking. We are the premium carbon credit and natural capital intermediary for the world's largest corporates. What are we doing? What does that particularly mean? 1 second. Okay. Terrible eyes. It's very dark. So what do we do? Right, we are at the vanguard of the professionalization and the financialization of the carbon markets, which is critical to unlocking scale in carbon removals and carbon markets generally. What we do is we build diversified, de-risked and insurable portfolios of the world's best carbon projects for large organizations to meet their net zero targets. Those portfolios can even be brought forward. We're bringing financial services and financial markets sophistication to the carbon credit markets. We only work with the absolute best projects in the world, and we run all of our own due diligence in-house, which is AI enabled. So we've been going 18 months. It's been a very exciting 18 months. We've managed to onboard some absolutely fantastic clients. We're predicting by the end of this year that we'll be on about 1.6 million in revenue, which is great for our second year of trading, which would actually make us profitable. Now, we raised 250,000 in angel funding last year, and that was our early stage round. And now this round is about unlocking that growth and unlocking the opportunity around us, because we don't merely just want to be a nice, profitable business. We want to capture the huge opportunity that's going on around our heads and that we're at the forefront of. So what would this raise be for? Well, it's three things. Number one is unlocking capacity. We are at capacity within our team with a number of proposals that we've got coming in. And that's particularly within the UK market, our core market, and the most exciting place to be within the voluntary carbon market globally right now. So we would be unlocking that through building our capacity within our team, building sales functions. Number two is taking that successful and proven model into Europe, into targeted markets. So we're looking at Germany, France, Italy, and Switzerland to attack analogous markets that are similar to the UK. And number three, this is our operating system, our operational system. So as I say, we run all of our own due diligence in-house. We actually sell that as a service to some major banks and other institutions. It takes a long time to do due diligence properly. So what we're going to do is bring AI enablement to that, which we're already developing now. We've already proven that we can get due diligence down from days to mere minutes with human in the loop to add certainty. Boring again, won't talk about that, got no time. Who are we? We are financial services background, so I come from banking and finance. My co-founder Luke comes from insurance. Russell, our head of science, comes from an ecology background, master's in law in ecology, and comes from the UN. We are, as I say, at the vanguard of taking this market into a proper financial market and putting carbon credits in the minds of CFOs and board members in a way that makes sense for their business and not just as a nice to have. That's why our chairman, who is the former CEO of Legal and General Investments Management, is backing us as the next big thing in the carbon markets. There you go. How was that compared to last time? Don't answer that.
Thanks very much for the presentation. What is differentiating you compared to other brokers in the space? The voluntary carbon market has had a pretty tough couple of years. You've managed to grow during that time, so congrats. But why you versus others in this case?
Yeah, no, it's a great question. And look, it has been a tough couple of years. But reports are now saying that it's 50% up this year versus last year. So it's really great actually to see it sort of exploding back again around us, but in a much better way with better services and products. That's kind of why those clients are coming to us. So We are not a self-serve platform, and we're specifically not, right? We are people-led, tech-enabled. And the reason for that is our competitors have failed, and they are literally failing around us because they ask the client to understand what the hell they're doing. We don't do that, and that's why we work directly with CFOs and board members in order to build the business case internally, bringing those financial services style packages and products like diversification, de-risking, insurability onto the best credits and doing it in a way that makes sense for them. So we sign 5-year deals or more with long-term asset portfolio management style capability that we bring to them, which just makes sense for them. And the second side of it is actually the quality of the projects we work with. So we are the leading broker for UK projects. We work in the developed world, which hardly anyone else does. One of our main competitors, who I'm certain everyone here has heard of, rang us up the other day asking for credits from the UK because they don't have any. And so we are getting that locked in, essentially, and getting that supplier relationships locked in. And that is a model we will be taking to Europe, and we're already starting to get that supply in because it's severely overlooked. So really, those two things are driving it home.
One other quick question. Do you then sort out the insurability and the insurance of those projects as well on behalf of the customers or on behalf of the projects, or do you expect the projects to have already got that?
Well, it's a boon if the project does have insurance, and many of them do, and that's part of our due diligence. But no, we get insurance on the portfolios that we manage.
Thank you, Andy, for the presentation. As Craig mentioned, it's an interesting market. I mean, it has grown, but it's still certainly in the very kind of early stages of maturity. I'm interested to hear your view on how the role you're playing in the market can help accelerate this beyond the Microsofts and the Frontiers, who are probably taking up 90% of the market right now.
Yeah, I mean, look, they do a great thing for it, but the thing is that what they do, they have the sophistication in-house. They have nature broking in-house, right? So we're never selling to Microsoft. So they can go and do the due diligence, go and finance things early on. What we're doing to unlock this market is being the outsourced treasury function for carbon credits so that you as an organization don't have to make those decisions. You can rely on us, the trusted partner, to do that. So that's why, I mean, let's just go and, peacock for a bit. These guys on the right come to us because they don't want to build that in-house function. They can come to us and do it. And there are many, many more within our pipeline with those sorts of logos who are going, look, we are a big institution, we understand how outsourcing works. We need a trusted partner who can do it, and that's how we're scaling and unlocking this. But it's critical to do it in a way that the board understands, which is what we do.
My question lies on credibility. Transparency has always been a pain for carbon projects. And then it's always like a long year project in terms of carbons. So I wonder, do you also kind of like helps monitoring, reporting, after you sign a contract with them, this kind of service?
We don't do any MRV ourselves, but we monitor that it is all happening on an ongoing basis through our due diligence to make sure that it's meeting the standards of the standard, like Vera, Gold Standard or whatever, but also what we need in our enhanced due diligence, things like ICVCM, is it still meeting those criteria, CROA and so on. So we monitor the monitoring.
Every year?
Every year, so we'll rerun our due diligence every single year, which is why it's critical to get this digitization. The other thing we do is we actually bring customers to site. So if you want to, genuinely, we'll run these projects, these site visits all the time. We gen ag stuff in around London, so give me your name and I'll add you to the list. You can come down to the next one. You can see it firsthand from literally where you bought it from. That is hugely transparent and impactful for the organization to understand this is something real.
So what is your business model exactly?
So our business model is brokerage.
Okay.
So we sit in the middle, money passes through us, we take our bit to make the whole thing happen, and then often on the long-term deals and account management fee for managing over the multiple years.
Okay.
Thank you. That was brilliant. Thank you so much. We now will allow the judges a few moments to talk amongst yourselves, and in the meantime, we'll talk among ourselves. This was the last pitch, so yeah. Who here has another business that they want to pitch while we wait for the judges to talk? We'll give them about probably 3 minutes to talk amongst themselves. So you can stretch your legs. Did you have enough time, or did you wish that you had a little bit longer?
I've done 1 minute pitches before, so that's much nicer than.
And you had like 30 seconds remaining.
Oh, did I? I can do some more if you like.
How about you?
Yeah, I think less time is better. It forces you to be concise and say the bit that matters. So.
Absolutely. You can, I think that you can probably talk about your business for hours, right? And then you don't know, like if you have a pitch and you know you have this time, you really pick your brains and really know what exactly are you going to say. What about you?
I guess longer is always more useful, but as you can tell, I'm fantastic at waffling on, so I think probably keeping it to 3 minutes is good for everyone, I think.
I'm going to let you into a small secret. You had 4 minutes. So we had extra bonus time. Because I didn't want to just don't talk anymore. You want to be able to kind of finish your thought. Anyone here has a business as well that they'd like to pitch for? Oh, yeah, you. Oh, great. I'm just kidding. How are we getting on? Has it been 3 minutes since we started? Let me have a look. One more minute. I think we're done. Are we done?
Okay.
Let's take the deck off. Excellent.
Shall we go ahead?
Absolutely.
Okay, so first say thanks very much for the presenting companies. Very much appreciated hearing everything that you guys are doing, and please continue doing what you're doing. Everything that we do here with regards to saving carbon and climate is massively appreciated. In terms of how we looked at this, we looked at this in terms of scalability, presentation skills, specifically on how much do we get from the presentation, and then looking at it in terms of how we would view it from a venture capital perspective, which one we think has the largest scalability, potential, market size, and doing that. I will say that on all three, maybe we see there's a lot of other competition in the space. So we did explicitly kind of didn't include that because in every one it was the same. So that was kind of the rationale behind our thoughts and reasoning. And in which case, the one that we enjoyed, or think was the best pitch, was Nature Broking. So thanks very much.
Thanks very much. Do I keep the mic, or is that?
We can take a picture, I guess.
Oh, okay. I don't actually have anyone with me. I'm alone, so I can't take a picture. If anyone wants to take a picture,
You have me.
Oh, great.
Please help me with a round of applause while we take a picture. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone. Sorry for.
Thank you so much. That was brilliant. I really enjoyed this, and I absolutely agree. Please keep doing what you're doing. I think that this is exactly what the world needs. Back to my heart-set question, I mean, you do this because you really believe that we can actually get some better decisions made and in a better world, right? And this is exactly why I think probably everyone here is sitting at late in the afternoon, because we do believe that this is actually possible, and we can see that it is happening. So thank you so much. Thank you so much for the judges who we're here to listen to the pitches and you're leaving already without headphones. You don't know what I'm saying. Good. Thank you. Have a wonderful rest of your day.